In Goodsprings, Nevada on July 8th, 2022, they threw a party for Fallout New Vegas, arguably the best game in the series and indeed a game that the town of Goodsprings has every right to celebrate. In New Vegas, we start in the town of Goodsprings. After being shot in the head by Benny, the courier is dug out of a shallow grave by Victor in the Goodsprings Cemetery, and the town acts as a perfect introduction to the game. The owner of the Pioneer Saloon, known as the Prospector Saloon in New Vegas, has a great deal of love for the game that features his bar so heavily and decided to throw a party for the whole day for the fans of New Vegas to come and celebrate. This was an event I absolutely couldn't miss, and I wasn't alone, as around 500 people showed up throughout the day. Showing up from 5 countries and all around the United States, fans of New Vegas gathered in Goodsprings, and it was quite possibly the best day I have ever had in my life. I had never been to Goodsprings before. I knew it existed, but I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be traveling there for a celebration of Fallout New Vegas. Not only had I not been to the Mojave, but I hadn't been to the Strip in Las Vegas before either, so the excitement for the journey was mounting for me. My wife and I had just bought a car, and we both thought there was no better way to use it than to drive down there ourselves. It helps that we got married on July 22nd, so we treated this trip as an anniversary party and packed up to head to the City of Sin. Driving from Spokane, Washington was indeed a long trip, nearly 17 hours one way. Still, we hadn't ever taken a road trip of this magnitude, and we were looking forward to the ride. As we made our way through Nevada, I noticed on the map that we were crazy close to a location I had always wanted to visit since I was a young child, and I had to make a pit stop. The ET Fresh Jerky stand in Hyco, Nevada is a beautiful place to stop. Not only is it the only shop for miles in the Nevada desert, but it legit has some of the best jerky I've ever tasted. Shops like these are my favorite places to visit. You get interesting lore from the employees in the stores, and the products are always top tier. I highly recommend stopping by ET Fresh Jerky the next time you're in the Vegas area, and they ship anywhere in the United States, so if you want to try some for yourself, make sure to visit their online shop. The link is in the description.
I like China, but I love my alien fresh jerky.
While I love stores like the ET Fresh Jerky stand, this wasn't the bucket list location I was referring to. I just had to go to Area 51, and the best way to get there is by going to Rachel, Nevada and stopping by the Little Alien, the best fries in Nevada by the way. The inn itself has had problems with people filming and being reckless in and around their shops, so they weren't too keen on being on camera. Plus the soldiers that work at the base frequent the shop, and due to their presence, I couldn't film too much, as if their identities show up online, they will lose their jobs at Groom Lake. Just being in this area was a life-changing experience, and both ET Fresh Jerky and the Little Alien are well worth stopping at. Now that a TKs-Mantis sticker has been placed on the extraterrestrial highway sign, I was ready to stay in Vegas proper. I woke up the day of the event filled with excitement. Smoking a cigarette on the strip in the early morning, I anticipated what I might experience in Goodsprings that day. Still, nothing could prepare me for what Fallout New Vegas Day would be. Arriving at Goodsprings, I was surprised to see the turnout, as was the owner Steve. Most people thought around 50 people would show up, but over 500 came throughout the event. Once I made my way inside, the first person I recognized was Gordy, known as Easy Pete in-game. This is the guy the devs of New Vegas based Easy Pete on. Likeness is uncanny. He's great to talk to and one hell of a snappy dresser. I'm not exaggerating when I say this event had the best vibe I have ever been around. Everyone was so lovely and welcoming, and you really felt like you could walk up and just talk to anybody. The Pioneer Saloon and the Goodsprings General Store employees worked their asses off in the Mojave heat, with temperatures reaching 110 Fahrenheit at times. Most of them were there from 9 a.m. till midnight, and they were dealing with about 10 times as many customers as they thought they would. From what I gathered from the crowd, everybody was very loose with their tips and showed their gratuity at every chance they got. Many people took out the rest of the cash that they had at the end of the night and just set it on the bar for the workers who gave so much of their time to make this event possible. As I sat at my table, I was met with another surprise. Nearly everyone I talked to told me that I was the reason they even knew about the event. This was bittersweet as I discovered that I was the only content creator promoting it. It would have been nice to see other Fallout YouTubers posting about this. I understand not everybody can make the trip, still it takes less than 30 seconds to tweet, retweet, or even make a post about such an incredible event. And had others posted about it, we might have had even more people there. And Goodsprings deserves our love. There wasn't a negative person in the crowd that day in Goodsprings. Some people had gone to the cemetery, and when I was talking to Steve about it, he told me that not only were they very respectful and clean, they left some really kind gifts on veterans' graves, like live rounds, flowers, and American flags. A band was on stage most of the time, cranking out mostly Fallout tunes, though no matter what they played, the group was really into it and sang along to every song. The costumes were some of the best I have ever seen. Everybody had their own take on Fallout gear, and there were so many different kinds of people in Goodsprings to celebrate, which was amazing to see. Honestly, we all know the world has been a bit rough lately, and just being at this event restored so much faith in humanity for me. Speaking of costumes, by far one of the best to come to Goodsprings was a guy wearing a complete set of XO1 power armor. The suit was so incredibly made, and it was crazy to see in person. The armor itself stands at 7'4" and very clearly stood out amongst the rest of the crowd. One of the things that moved me the most was some of the people I met while I was there. Everybody was so happy to see me, and everyone I met inspired me in different ways, whether it was things they wanted to see on my channel or how my videos affected them in their lives. It was amazing to meet everyone and hang around such amazing people. At a certain point, a group of NCR troops and some legionaries prepared to fight. This was a setup for a video that was being filmed. Still, before it could properly kick off, Easy Pete came to tell us that the costume contest was starting.
That Texas red around here. Let him know I'm coming for him.
We want Big Iron.
Candidate number 8. Entry number 9.
After the contest, some Fallout karaoke was set to take place, and I was convinced to jingle jangle a bit. As the night wound down, no one wanted to leave. We had all been hanging out in the Mojave together, and we all knew that this would be a day we would all remember fondly for the rest of our lives. While no developers or voice actors from New Vegas showed up, Obsidian did send out a rep to film for their TikTok channel. While she wasn't keen on being noticed, it was great to see some official recognition of the event. I left Goodsprings that night and teared up a bit. It was surreal to not only be in the town that started it all, but also to be around so many terrific people. The people I met that day will stay in my mind for a very long time, and I will never forget how much fun this whole event was. Some of you may not have been able to make it. Perhaps you didn't hear about it in time, or it was just too long of a trip. But due to the success of the first New Vegas Day, Steve has decided to make it an annual event. We will be bouncing ideas off of each other all year to think of ways to make it even better than the first. The following New Vegas celebration is set to take place in Goodsprings in October of 2023. It will likely be a whole weekend instead of just one day, so make sure to start making your plans now so you can come join the fun this time around. Overall, I consider Fallout New Vegas Day a huge success. I can't wait to go back in October next year and meet everyone all over again. I want to thank the people of Goodsprings, the General Store, and the Pioneer Saloon for making this all possible. If you're at the event, make sure to tag me in your posts so I can share them as well. And until next time, it has been Mantis.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die.